Hello viewers, welcome back to another video. It's day 29th of me reading and we were on page number 245. I left it there. Let's start. At the end of each week, her coach goes over her notes and adds his thoughts and adds his thoughts. It's not just athletes it's not just athletes either. When comedian Chris Rock is preparing fresh material, he will first appear at small nightclubs dozens of times and test hundreds of jokes. He brings a notepad on stage and records which bits go over well and when he needs to make adjustments. The few killer lines that survive will form the backbone of his next show. I know of executives and investors who keep a decision journal in which they record their major decisions they make each week, whether they made them with whether they made them and what they expect the outcome to be. They review their choices at the end of each month or year to see whether they were correct and where they were wrong. Improvement is not just about learning habits, it's about fine tuning them. Reflection and review ensure that you spend your time on the right things and make course corrections whenever necessary. Like Pat Riley adjusting the efforts of his players on a nightly basis. You don't want to keep practicing a habit if it becomes ineffective. Personally, I employ two primary modes of reflection and review. Each December, I perform an annual review in which I reflect on the previous year. I tally my habits for the year by counting up how many articles I published, how many workouts I put in, how many new places I visited, and more. Then I reflect on my progress or lack thereof by answering these three questions. What went well this year? What didn't go so well this year? What did I learn? 6 months later, when summer rolls around, I conduct an integrity report. Like everyone, I make a lot of mistakes. My integrity report helps me realize where I went wrong, and what motivates me to get back on course. I use it as a time to revisit my core values and consider whether I have been living in accordance with them. This is when I reflect on my identity and how I can work towards being the type of person I wish to become. My yearly integrity report answers these three questions. What are the core values that drive my life and work? How am I living and working with integrity right now? How can I set a higher standard in future? These two reports don't take very long, just a few hours per year, but they are crucial periods of refinement. They prevent the gradual slide that happens when I don't pay close attention. They provide an annual reminder to revisit my desired identity and consider how my habits are helping me become the type of person I wish to be. They indicate when I should upgrade my habits and take on new challenges, and when I should dial my efforts back and focus on the fundamentals. Reflections can also bring a sense of perspective. Daily habits are more powerful because of how they are compound. Because of how they compound. But worrying too much about every daily choices is like looking at yourself in the mirror from an inch away. You can see every imperfection and lose sight of the bigger picture. Okay, there is too much feedback. Conversely, never reviewing your habits is like never looking in the mirror. You aren't aware of fixable flaws. A spot on your shirt, a bit of food in your teeth, there is too little feedback. Periodic reflection and reviews is like viewing yourself in the mirror from a conversational distance. You can see the important changes you should make without losing sight of the bigger picture. You want to view the entire mountain range not obsess over each peak and valley. Okay, that's a very good line. You want to view the entire mountain range, not obsess over each peak and valley. What went well this year? What didn't go so well this year? What did I learn? What are the three core values? What are the core values that drive my life at work? How am I living and working with integrity right now? How can I set a higher standard in the future? Hmm. Finally, reflection and review offers an ideal time to revisit one of the most important aspects of behavior change: identity. How to break the beliefs that hold you back. In the beginning, repeating a habit is essential to build up evidence of your desired identity. As you latch on to that new identity, however, those some beliefs can hold you back from the next level of growth. When working against you, sorry, I didn't set up the timer. I don't know how long I've been recording. I think it's been 5 minutes, fairly so. I'll set up the timer for 15 minutes. Yeah, I'll start. The more scared, yeah, where was I? Hold you back from the next level of growth. When working against you, your identity creates a kind of pride that encourages you to deny your weak spots and prevents you from truly growing. This is one of the greatest downsides of building habits. The more scared an idea is to us, that is, the more deeply it is tied to our identity, the more strongly we defend it against criticism. You see this in every industry. The school teacher who ignores innovative teaching methods and sticks with her tried and true lessons plans, the veteran manager who is committed to doing things his way, the surgeon who dismisses the idea of her younger colleagues, the band who produces a mind-blowing first album and then gets stuck in a rut. The tighter we cling to an identity, the harder it becomes to grow beyond it. One solution is to avoid making any single aspect of your identity an overwhelming portion of who you are. In these words of in the words of investor Paul Graham, keep your identity small. The more you let a single belief define you, the less capable you are of challenges adapting when life challenges you. If you tie everything up in being the point guard or the partner at the firm of whatever else, then the loss of that facet of your life will wreck If you are a vegan and then develop a health condition that forces you to change your diet, you'll have an identity crisis on your hands. When you cling too sorry, when you cling too tightly to one identity, you become brittle. Lose that one thing and you lose yourself. For most of my young life, being an athlete was a major part of my identity. After my baseball career ended, I struggled to find myself. When you spend your whole life defining yourself in one way and that disappears, who are you now? Military veterans and former entrepreneurs report similar feelings. If your identity is wrapped up in beliefs like I'm a great soldier, what happens when your period of service ends? For many business owners, their identity is something along the lines of I am the CEO or I am the founder. If you have spent every waking moment working on your business, how will you feel after you sell the company? The key to mitigating the losses of identity is to redefine yourself such that you get to keep important aspects of your identity even if your particular role changes. I'm an athlete becomes I'm the type of person who is mentally tough and loves a physical challenge. I'm a great soldier. Instead of saying I'm a great soldier, use I'm the type of person who is disciplined, reliable, and great on a team. I'm the CEO translates to I'm the type of person who builds and creates things. When chosen effectively, an identity can be flexible rather than brittle, like water flowing around an obstacle. Your identity works with your identity works with changing circumstances rather than against them. The following quote from the Tao Te, Tao Te Ching encapsulates the ideas perfectly. Men are born soft and supple. Dead, they are stiff and hard. Plants are born tender and plain. Dead, they are brittle and dry. Thus, whoever is stiff and inflexible is is a disciple of death. Whoever is soft and yielding is a disciple of life. The hard and stiff will be broken. The soft and supple will prevail. That's so good. Habits differ numerous Habits differ numerous beliefs, but the downside is that they can lack they can lock us into our previous patterns of thinking and acting. Even when the world is shifting around us, everything is impermanent. Life is constantly changing, so you need to periodically check in to see if your old habits and beliefs are still serving you. A lack of self awareness is poison. Reflection and review is the antidote. Chapter summary. The upside of habits is that we can do things without thinking. The downside is that we stop paying attention to little errors. Habits plus deliberate practice is equal to mastery. Reflection and review is a process that allows you to remain conscious of your performance over time. The tighter we cling to an identity, the harder it becomes to grow beyond it. And we reach the last chapter, guys. It's the conclusion. Hope it's visible. Let's start. Conclusion. The secret to results that last. Here is an ancient Greek parable known as Socrates' paradox, which talks about the effect action can have when repeated enough times. One formulation of the paradox goes as follows: can one coin make a person rich? If you give a person a pile of 10 coins, you wouldn't claim that he or she is rich. But what if you add another, add another, add another? At some point, you will have to admit that no one can be rich unless one coin can make him or at some point you will have to admit that no one can be rich unless one can make him or her so. What? At some point you will have to admit that No one can be rich unless one coin can make him or her so. We can say that we can say the same about atomic habits. Can one tiny change transform your life? It's unlikely you would say so. But what if you made another, and another, and another? At some point, you will have to admit that your life was transformed by one small change. Okay. The holy grail of habit change, is not a single 1% improvement. The holy grail of habit change is not a single 1% improvement, but a thousands of them. It's a bunch of atomic habits stacking up, each one a fundamental unit of overall system. In the beginning, small improvements can often seem meaningless because they get washed away by the weight of the system. Just as one coin won't make you rich, one positive change like meditating for 1 minute or reading one page each day is unlikely to deliver a noticeable difference. Gradually, though, as you continue to layer small changes on top of one another, the scales of life start to move. Each improvement is like adding a grain of sand to the positive side of the scale, slowly tilting things in your favor. Eventually, you stick with it. You hit a tipping point. Suddenly it feels easier to stick with good habits. The weight of the system is working for you rather than against you. Over the course of this book, we have looked at dozens of stories about top performers. We have heard about Olympic gold medalists, award-winning award-winning artists, business leaders, life-saving physicians, and star comedians who have used who have used who have all used the science of small habits to master their craft and vault to the top of their field. Each of the people, teams, and companies we have covered has faced different circumstances but ultimately progressed in the same way. Though a commitment is though a commitment to tiny, sustainable, unrelenting improvement through a commitment to tiny, sustainable, unrelenting improvements. Success is not a goal to reach a finish line to cross, not a goal to reach or a finish line to cross. It's a system to improve, an endless process to refine. In chapter 1 I said, if you are having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you, the problem is your system. Bad habits repeat themselves again and again, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. As the book draws to a close, I hope the opposite is true. With the four laws of behavior change, you have a set of tools and strategies that you can use to build better systems and shape better habits. Sometimes a habit will be hard to remember. Sometimes a habit will be hard to remember and you'll need to make it obvious. Other times you won't feel like starting and you'll need to make it attractive. You won't feel like starting, hard to remember, you'll need to make it obvious. Other time you won't feel like starting and you'll need to make it attractive. In many cases you may find that habit to be too difficult and you'll need to make it easy, and sometimes you won't feel like sticking with it and you'll need to make it satisfying. Obvious behaviors are effortless here when it is obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Behaviors are difficult here when it is invisible, unattractive, hard, and unsatisfying. You want to push your good habits towards the left side of the spectrum by making them obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Meanwhile, you want to cluster your bad habits towards the right side by making them invisible, unattractive, hard, and unsatisfying. That's the basic system we read about in this book. This is a continuous process. There is no finishing line. There is no permanent solution. Whenever you are looking to improve, you can Rotate through the 4 laws of behavior change until you find the next bottleneck. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. Round and round, always looking for the next way to get 1% better. the secret to get see, the secret to getting results that last is to never stop making improvements. It's remarkable what you can build if you just don't stop. What you can build if you just don't stop. It's remarkable the business you can build if you don't stop working. It's remarkable the body you can build if you don't stop training. It's remarkable the knowledge you can build if you don't stop learning. It's also remarkable the fortune you can build if you don't stop saving. It's remarkable the friendships you can build if you don't stop caring. Smart habits don't add up, they compound. The power of atomic habits, tiny changes. That's the power of atomic habits, tiny changes and remarkable results. What you should what you should read next. Thank you so much for taking the time to read this book. It has been a pleasure sharing my work with you. If you are looking for something to read next, allow me to offer a suggestion. If you enjoy atomic habits, you may like other writing as well. My other writing as well. My last articles are sent out in my free weekly newsletter. Subscribers are also the first to hear about newest books and projects. Finally, in addition to my own work, each year I send out a reading list of my favorite books from other authors on a wide range of subjects. You can sign up at atomichabits.com/newsletter. Little lessons from the 4 laws. How to apply these ideas to businesses. How to apply these ideas to parenting. Acknowledgements. I think this book is done with. What left is this part, little lessons from the 4 laws. I think we can complete it. Nothing much, just six pages. I'll do it tomorrow because it's already late and it's currently 1:30 a.m. and I have to sleep and it's time. Yeah, so I think that's it for today, guys. We'll start from tomorrow from this line, and I hopefully will complete this book tomorrow. And after that, we'll start with another book which I have already bought, and the name is. I'll tell you that tomorrow. Until then, goodbye, good night, and go find your purpose, guys. It's very important.